So let's talk about confidence. I have to admit, I know I haven't been a very confident person most of my life. And it dawned on me recently, being out and about in business and in the real world, out and about amongst friends, family, strangers, soon to be friends. A lot of people don't seem to be confident. I've been reading a book called Body Language by Joe Navarro recently, and it shows literally breakdowns of, based on arms, hands, head, neck, feet, torso, everything, what someone is most likely thinking and how confident they are or apathetic or angry and so on and so forth. And I'm reading this book and it's dawning on me all of the things that have had to happen for me to draw upon in my life to then come back and introspect on them and learn from them and gain more confidence. An example being when I grew up, I'd never seen an interpersonal relationship between a man and a woman growing up. My mom was in her 50s when she adopted me, and she had no husband and no boyfriend and 3 divorces into it. So there was not much of a male-female interaction that happened. So, right, we model our parents' osmosis. There was nothing to model from. So obviously going to school, not really being sure how to talk to the opposite sex. As you get older, the more you want to talk to the opposite sex. That gets harder when you're not sure what to do. And the light bulb goes off, one of many you may have. Competence leads to confidence. Like, if I had known what to do, I had maybe had more idea of what to do, I would have tried it, right? Like we have an idea before we take an action. So if the idea that we believe the outcome is going to be good, we're more likely to act. So having formed agreement with a truth like, oh, this might work, we're more likely to do something. Well, lots of individuals that do well with that, for example, their confidence might not be low with the opposite sex. They tend to have upbringings where something transpires to give them some kind of competence, or at least false or truthful understanding, depending on the circumstance, that whatever they do, they're going to get a result. Like the kids that just realize young that the more people they talk to, just like in quote-unquote sales or business, the more women they talk to, the more likely they'll have one date if they talk to 100 chicks. And I was listening to Jim Rohn recently. He was talking about the best way to build confidence is to be disciplined and to achieve what you set out to achieve every day. For example, that's like a way to build confidence. How can we be confident of ourselves? We're always letting ourselves down. But I was reminiscing, my life, all these things that definitely had to happen for my internal confidence to go up. And it's interesting when you go out into business, no matter what the hierarchy of success, most don't appear very confident. And if they are appearing confident, you've got to ask yourself, is that confidence or is it actually fear and arrogance that comes from fear and scarcity masked with confidence? Are you really confident? What made my life was being curious enough to want to learn about things and understanding the situation for myself, and maybe one would agree with this, understanding any given situation before you get into it. It's almost like you have a virtual reality. That's what your brain does. You can see the future. All right, I know this about physics, so I'm not going to drive really, really, really fast and then turn left. That's how he broke the arm. Right. The competence in doing something will lead to the confidence. Now, for example, I didn't know how to drive one of those vehicles that I was in when I broke this, so I wasn't competent and I was in the passenger seat. But competence gives us confidence. And sometimes, actually, if you think about it, competence can lead to confidence, and confidence can be, get us hurt. However, if we're not ever taking risks, what's a risk? It's a perceived win or loss. Most likely, higher the risk, the more loss. It's just a perceived notion in our mind based on our competence, meaning what we believe we understand about whatever subject. So I just wanted everyone to think about confidence today. And are you confident? Were there things that happened in your life that sparked some kind of new idea that led to a further understanding of something, a competence that became, more confident in this subject or any subject? Do you know anyone that is super, super, super confident in your life? Have you ever taken the time to ask them where that came from? They said that there's a study that was done. I've talked about this quite a few times because it's so interesting. That cognitive control was tested with 8-year-olds in Australia, and they had a marshmallow and they had to pick, if they didn't, they were 8-year-old kids. If they didn't eat the marshmallow right away, if they waited, they would get 2. And most kids just ate the first one, and that showed a lack of discipline, really what we would call discipline, cognitive control. So think that if we're less likely to discipline ourselves, then we are less likely to do the things we got to do every day to succeed. Then that is an external, environmental way to lower confidence. And even if confidence wasn't nature, right? Like, oh, you just always had it. By being disciplined and working towards your goals and accomplishing things, over time, we're going to change our internal mechanism of self-talk, self-perception, and so on. So let's get confident.